Hi there, welcome to the Cruelty Free Podcast. I'm Connor.
I'm Charlie.
And this is now episode 3. Sorry for any issues with my microphone quality. We're going to get this right. We're going to get this right someday.
We're slowly getting there.
I feel it.
Unbeknownst to everyone else, this microphone that I got on was plugged in last week. I just lost about 2 hours worth of audio, and that kind of was a bummer.
By episode 10, this will be a quality podcast.
Yeah, we'll have... By that time, we'll each have 2 of these headphones on.
An HD camera, a fucking green screen. We're currently in my parents' house recording this. I'm house sitting for them. I don't want the people on YouTube thinking I live with my parents.
Oh, right. Or that you have such a nice house.
Oh, well, I mean, shit.
You could have. You had a chance. You could have lied to anybody.
I could have painted myself as very well off. I'm not.
You made a mistake. We'll have a camera, a handy cam just sitting in the background probably.
I actually kind of like this setup a little bit more, though. Not just the fancy background tile with the campfire, but you and I kind of sitting next to each other.
Yeah, it's more comfortable.
Yeah, it feels more like a conversation instead of us sitting so far away.
And the feng shui of the of the fireplace and whatnot makes it, I think, a little bit more aesthetically pleasing.
Oh yeah, no. This is best episode until episode 10 when we have our shit together. Production
quality is through the roof right now.
No, we're recording this a little bit earlier than we normally do too. So I mean, the lighting is look at us. We're just so proud right now.
They call it the golden hour.
Most podcasts have money behind them and backers and professional people who went to school for this kind of shit. Yeah. Not you and me, man. We're just like, no, we'll figure it out.
We have spunky American ingenuity.
With can-do attitude, a little elbow grease, you can accomplish anything in America.
Hopefully by episode 10, we'll be able to have Caleb as our little slave boy.
Oh, God.
Standing in the wings.
Caleb!
Ever vigilant.
Orange juice, now!
He'll come over here, he'll, kind of bend over, pour the orange juice.
Can we berate him?
Yeah, of course.
All right. What's his insulting name?
You know what? I think berating him will just make him horny. And I don't think we'll like him when he's horny.
Yeah?
Yeah. He's a beast. He can sling that thing around like it's nobody's business.
Oh God.
Yeah. He's like he's a sexual dynamo. But that's only what I get from him. I mean, that's what I read. I haven't talked to anybody. I definitely haven't talked to his girlfriend about how awesome he is in the sack, but I assume. I mean, I see him all the time, and I'm kidding. I'll talk about that forever. I don't want to talk about Caleb.
So Charlie, you were going to tell me about this dream you had.
Yeah, that's my first thing on the agenda. I had this fucking weird-ass dream the other night. It was after the party and concert, which I guess kind of makes sense because I was kind of real stressful. I ended up getting home at 1 o'clock in the morning after having not slept and partied and had a good old time. And, by the way, they might not have an album out yet, but if anyone's listening, and I'll make an addendum to this in the comments or whatever, the description of the video, but Space Blanket, listen to them, give them a listen, because they are fucking sweet. They might be one of my favorite bands, definitely in my top 5 favorite local bands as of right now. I mean, my God. So I get home at 1 o'clock, I fall asleep, it might have been because I ate huevos rancheros from Manny's off of Girard, and I fall asleep for about 8 hours, but during the dream, my family, a peek into my life, has an excess of stray and feral cats that live in our backyard. And
do you eat cat food
to go to sleep?
To go to sleep.
To go to sleep. No, I eat it because there's the cats outside.
Their cats are outside because you're eating cat food.
No, I think, we took in a stray cat at one point in time, and then it got out, it ran away, because it was still pretty feral.
Yeah.
And I think it went around the fucking neighborhood and told all the other goddamn stray cats out there, was like, this house, these people will give you food,
that in my old when I first moved out of my parents' house, there was this cat that would wander around, and we started leaving food out for it.
Yeah.
And then a shit ton of cats started hanging out. And I remember one morning I woke up for work, and I looked outside, and it was like an army of kittens were out in my backyard. I was like,
yeah.
And I opened the door, and they all just scattered.
Did they ever come back?
No. I moved out of that. Actually, during a pretty dark period of my life, I would go hang out in that house and sit around and feel sad and watch movies on my laptop. And one night, I was doing that, and then I looked outside, and the first cat, poked his head out, and it was one of those like closure moments.
Aw. And so they have a little life.
Yeah.
Out there in the backyard now.
It's like an ecosystem.
That's pretty sweet. My cats are, even no matter how much we feed them, they are constantly malnourished looking. Aww. We have got to stop feeding them or get them to a house, animal control. See, that's where I don't want to trap them and take them to animal control, because if they don't find a place for them, then they exterminate them. I don't want to take. Then there's Watermelon Ranch or other places like that, and I'm like, well. But
they're very choosy on who they'll take.
And there's Animal Humane, which will get them neutered.
Or PETA.
Well, Animal Humane, they'll neuter them, and if they can't find a home, then they're just like, well, we don't want to kill them. We'll just send them back to you, and we still don't want them back there. But we kind of have to choose between neutering all of them, and it's a lot of money to get them all neutered, getting their kittens out and whatnot, getting them homes, because we also don't want mice. And in my side of town in Rio Rancho, there's been a mouse problem, and I don't want that, and I don't want the plague, so I kind of like having the cats out back. But they keep having babies. Luckily, they learned that there's a box out there they're not supposed to have babies in because the babies will die. So they have them in a different box, thank God now. But it's like the same cat having all these babies. And I'm like, we have to stop. Anyway, I get home, I fall asleep. Throughout the course of this dream, I go through these dream cycles. Eventually, I'm in my home. I look outside where the cats usually are, where they're getting food, and they're eating, and then I shit you not, like two ferrets and like a raccoon just start coming up and stealing kittens and eating them. Just right out from under the nose of, I see your face. It's as disturbing as it sounds. And just eating these kittens, and I was like, no, don't eat the kittens. And I was like all fucked up about it, but they kept taking kittens. But more kittens started showing up, and I was just like, that's what they want. They need more kittens to live. And anyway, I think that was the end of my dream, actually. I mean, it's a real quick dream, but what do you think about what does it mean?
Like Bob Barker used to say, help control the pet population, spay and neuter your pets.
Please. Well, is it, and I don't have dreams like that all the time. I'm wondering if it was like, it doesn't sound like a stress dream, because I've had stress dreams for a long time.
Yeah, no, I have stress dreams.
What are your stress dreams like?
Oh, they're lame. It's always me waking up like really, really late for work. Those are my stress dreams, is I wake up late for work, and I'm like, no! 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 And then I wake up. Like, that's when I realize I'm dreaming, is like, you would never wake up late for work, Connor, wake up. And then I wake up, and I'm like, well, thank God that was only a nightmare, but now I'm awake, and I have to go to work.
I get sleep paralysis sometimes, and these aren't related to stress, it's just random. Sometimes it's because of the way I fall asleep, or like the position I'm in. But like, in these dreams are special. They're fucking weird. Because I'm on the border of asleep and awake, and I'll feel like something's pushing air like out of me, and like I can't move, and I hear this whirring, this rumbling in my noise. It's kind of like this real specific noise.
Right about now.
It's kind of like Fatboy Slim,
The funk
actually.
still rubber. Check it out now.
It actually does sound like that Fatboy Slim song. And so it's like this tone that's real specific because I got a phobia of that tone the first time I had a weird dream like that, and that dream was fucked up.
I love that tone. Anytime the song has that noise, I'm like,
it's not exactly that tone from Fatboy Slim. It's like a deeper pitch, whoa, but that's as deep as I can go. It's like it's real uncomfortable. It's disconcerting.
That's the whole podcast, guys.
And it's an ASMR. And so in these sleep paralysis dreams, I'll think to myself, I'll know I'm asleep. I'll be like, Charlie, you know what this is. You're sleeping. This is your sleep paralysis. Wake up. And I'll will myself to wake up. Turns out I'm not really awake. I'm in an inception. I wake up from this dream in a dream.
No, you're not in an inception. Inception is planting
I know it's the wrong word.
No, yeah, you're using a verb as a noun.
You're implanting ideas into people subconsciously.
I did not watch Inception 10 times to let you misuse the goddamn word.
But I am in this like
you're
dream.
In level 2.
I'm in this level 2, a dream within a dream, and that'll happen like 3 times a night.
Fucking Tom Hardy shows up,
and
he looks like Tom Berenger, and he's confused as shit.
I wish some people with sleep paralysis mention seeing like dark figures or like witch demon looking things, but for me it's only like this noise, and it's only a noise and like not being able to move. It's so weird. But this dream in particular, I don't think it was a stress dream, but I also don't want it to be that I want the kittens to. I think it might be because I'm afraid that the kittens, while I'm sleeping, are getting picked off one by horrible fucking things out there in nature.
That's sad.
Because it is sad.
No, I got you.
They keep having kittens, and sometimes certain kittens don't come back.
Oh, man.
And I'm like tortured by it, like at night sometimes. Besides like that stuff, my regular stress dreams are like, I'll wake up, I'll be in my house, and sometimes I'm eating something, sometimes I'm not. I'm just like fiddling with a tooth, and it feels like it's coming loose. And so I'll go into the bathroom, and then it'll get really, really loose to the point where I'm like, well, what's the point? And I end up pulling out my tooth. But then all my other teeth start getting loose. And so I just start pulling out my teeth. Just hundreds of teeth. I just rip them out of my mouth. And then I wake up, and I'm like, that was weird. Or another one is, usually it's teeth. It's never really nails, but sometimes it's nails. And that's real bad.
I don't want.
I've been having these kinds of dreams since high school.
Yeah.
And you like that shit? You like that segue, motherfucker? But I've had them since high school, and
it's not much of a segue.
Since high school, and I think it's because I was always so stressed going to school in the mornings.
Man.
I never really liked it. I had like wicked anxiety where like I would wake up, I would get ready for school, and just before I would get ready to leave, I'd like start dry heaving because I didn't want to be around anybody or like do any. I didn't want to like talk to anybody in school.
Jeez,
I was
Charlie?
constantly afraid of people. And that was real bad, man. Like, I couldn't. So I ended up not going to school for 3 years and then getting my diploma because the
school system is fucked.
Here is fucked up, yeah.
Yeah, I should not have graduated high school.
I passed based on the merit of test scores, and they needed people like me to round out their statistics for that quarter.
I passed, I think, because my chemistry teacher did not want me around for another year. Because I had him for my sophomore year in geometry. I had him for Algebra 2 my junior year, and then I had him my senior year for chemistry. And I fucking did terribly in chemistry. I did not understand it at all. I didn't try it. I mean, I kind of tried to understand it, but I mean, like, math has never been my thing, and chemistry is all about, like, hypothetical math.
Yeah.
And I'm a realist, so I'm just kind of like...
Hypothetical as in...
It's not real.
Yeah.
It's not real math. It's theoretical. It's like physics. It's all just theoretical shit. And I'm like, well...
But is it applied in the real world?
Not for me.
Or are they? Oh, okay.
I'm never gonna fucking apply chemistry to my life.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're right.
As far as I know.
Right. Check this out. Have you ever made dough?
Yeah, I make dough.
That's chemistry, dog. You're doing chemistry every fucking day, dude.
No, I'm not. I'm just following a recipe.
Some people molecular gastronomy.
I'm a sorcerer, man. I'm a motherfucking sorcerer. I just do the thing. I don't want to understand it. I just shoot the flame out of my hand.
I
don't have time to learn all the fucking enchantments and the words and the shit I'm supposed to recite. Just put the stupid salt in the fucking thing. There we go.
Can you imagine the first guy who made dough, who went up to his friend and was just like, dude, check this out.
Like, what was he doing?
I'm going to take some of that wheat shit that we've been growing out there, and I'm going to take some water. I'm going to grind it up into this white powder shit that I have. I'm going to add some water in it. Check this out. It's solid. The second guy hits him in the head with a club and kills him and goes, fucking witch! And then the second guy...
And he takes a bite.
He goes...
Damn. If you put some dry, aged milk on this...
This'll be delicious.
Some cut up cow.
Some of that, maybe a little bit of that, like, white rock that we have over there that's kind of like, delicious.
Yeah.
I think we can make something great.
Yeah. No, call it a, they're on a beach for this.
Yeah.
Sand. And he was a witch. Sandwich. I made a thing.
Except, really, his inner monologue sounded more like, because he's a caveman. He's unintelligible.
When was the sandwich made again?
Its name, I've heard from cartoons. Time Squad. Remember that show?
Remember Time Squad.
Fuck yeah, you do.
No, that was episode 1. We're not talking about cartoons.
Earl of Sandwich.
Yeah.
I believe. I can Google it right now, but I don't feel like it.
All right. So why are we here, Charlie?
We're here to talk about what I was talking about 2 seconds ago about high school.
Oh yeah, high school.
I didn't piggybacking off of what the last thing you said. I never took chemistry. I never got the chance.
Well, I mean, I had to. I made the mistake of taking physics my junior year of high school, and I stupidly assumed we were gonna do cool things like push cars off of
experiments.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Not math.
Yeah.
Because as soon as it became math, I went shit, and I failed physics. I failed it, and it wasn't like I wasn't putting in the work. I put in the work, and the teacher would go, "Yeah, no, all the work's correct. It's just your answer is wrong.
Oh,
I don't understand how wrong your answer is." I'm like, neither do I.
Yeah, I did all the steps.
Yeah. No, I bombed physics pretty hard. I didn't bomb chemistry as hard because a lot of the grade was class participation. So I always participated, and that's how I got my D-.
Yeah.
I graduated high school with a fucking D- in chemistry.
That's, I believe, in high school, a D- is the lowest passing grade.
Yep.
And clearly you didn't have to take physics or chemistry because I also graduated and I didn't take shit. So how about that? You can work or not work, and you pass here in Rio Rancho High School, I guess. Do you think it is the same at Cleveland?
Probably. I mean, it's schools all around.
Yeah,
I believe.
Yeah. For anybody who doesn't live in town, I mean, I have friends that live in Albuquerque and whatever, and who knows who the fuck's listening. There's 2 high schools in Rio Rancho, which is a suburb of Albuquerque. One's Rio Rancho High School, which is in the 87124 area code, zip code.
Can we say that? Can we post? Can we talk about this information?
I'm just saying that they're what? They're just 2 high schools.
Why are we being so specific on?
Well, I'm not. I'm being specific because it's important. 87144 is across the street from Northern. I live on the border of it.
Yeah.
Cleveland High School's for 87144 people. I'd say you'd be a fool to not recognize that Cleveland High School is for people who are more well off. And Rio Rancho High School was kind of like the kind of I'd say lower income neighborhoods. And I'd say you could look at.
Oh, I mean, there's a lot of really nice. No,
there's a lot of really.
I would disagree. I think Rio, because Rio Rancho High School is surrounded by like a lot of nice houses, a lot of new houses. I mean, both of them are kind of located way too close to dumps.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Cleveland's like way the fuck out there. I would say there was more money put into Cleveland High School,
of course,
but I don't think it was necessarily because the 87144 area is like all of these houses, and sorry,
there's
most of these houses are older and not as well put together as the ones in the 87124 area.
Well, and I'm okay, and I can, my defense is that look at the 87124 houses, the houses behind Walmart, the houses down that road, the houses across the street from Albertsons and whatnot.
Yeah.
The houses right across the street. Rio Rancho High School only started getting the area around it, only started getting developed and populated, and the high school itself only started getting better after we had left.
Yeah,
and Cleveland, right after we left, started getting the student population there. They had 3D printers. They have.
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about
it. I hate
either. It's like, damn.
I'm gonna put that school on blast if we're not careful.
So anyway, that was school in Rio Rancho. I didn't have to do anything in Rio Rancho.
Oh yeah, no, I had no business having senioritis my senior year, but I did not try. I think I did 7 homework assignments total, except for when I needed to get my grades up to be in shows.
Yeah,
because that's all I cared about was theater and choir and occasionally AP English.
Right, because AP English is fun.
Well, AP English I was good at, and I could just bullshit an assignment.
You should be an English teacher.
Nah, man. What do you do with a BA in English? Some theater person's like, oh, that's a song! That's a song from Avenue Q, and he referenced it! Oh my god!
That's from Avenue Q?
Yeah, it's like the first song.
Oh, sweet. I never saw Avenue Q.
Oh, I love it.
Is it become a writer? Is that what you do with a Bachelor's of Arts in English?
Well, my teacher was, he majored in philosophy. So I asked him, I was like, what do you do what do you do when you major in philosophy? Other than teaching, what would your job, how do you get a job as a philosopher? You don't.
You write you do. You get a degree in it, and then you write a book about it. But usually you have to get a PhD. To get a PhD...
A doctorate in fucking philosophy.
To get a PhD, a doctorate in most of these fields, one of the things you have to do is write a study of your own. Like, do the research and kind of make something yourself. Like my dad, when he got his PhD in music, he had to write his own original composition and send it through a publisher and submit it to competitions and shit like that just to get his doctorate. God. And he's a composition doctor of a PhD in composition. So,
yeah.
But I'm an English major, and what did your philosophy teacher say? I mean, what did your teacher who majored in philosophy say? What jobs does he get?
Well, he basically confirmed.
He was
like, oh, well, because his name was Dr. Steinbeck.
Uh-huh.
Oh, well, you teach.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, that's
there you go.
Not surprising.
There you go.
He loved me. He loved me because I had a billion questions for him. and I was a little nonconformist.
Philosophers love questions.
Oh yeah, no.
I'm certain he loved you.
Oh yeah, and he wished I did my schoolwork more, but he appreciated. I was like, I don't care.
Yeah. Of course. Well, what reason did they give any of us to care?
I mean, you gotta care if you want to care. I don't think it's.
Yeah.
I think too many people put the expectation of learning on teachers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they need to be able to teach things. But Louis C.K. in the show Louis, he has this great line at a PTA meeting where he said, "But school sucks.
Yeah.
We all hated school." Mm. And I'm like, yeah.
Well, some teachers. I'm sure I haven't seen the episode, but the way I think about it is that some teachers go into. You remember that Whitest Kid You Know skit where they Darren is giving the walk of the Trail of Tears speech, but he calls it the Walk of Shame, and at the end Trevor's just like, why did I become a teacher? And Darren's like, probably because you thought all these kids would look up to you and shit. and I think that's true, because a teacher, I think, will go into it real bright-eyed, and eventually some teachers just don't want to teach, and teachers have to learn that some students don't want to learn.
Well, I mean, I
probably ruined teachers' days, because whenever I was in class, like in English or history, because I love those fucking things, I would really excel. I would know dates of stuff. I would know how to pronounce words. I was a writer. I was intelligent. But then, in that same respect, sorry for spitting that way, in that same respect, every single day I would walk off campus because security was not too good. I would walk off campus.
High school security is a joke.
Walk across the street next to the Mormon church and smoke weed behind it for 2 hours. And then whenever lunch happened, I would come back for the lunches to hang out with people I knew. And then I would walk right back off and get high behind the Mormon church again.
See, I would go to school and I'd stick around. I just didn't do anything. I just didn't care. I was like...
And so it's like when that stuff happens, a teacher probably gets bummed and is like, ugh. And after years of that, they probably don't care anymore.
You're kind of spitting in their face.
You are. And in that same right, there also are teachers that are just assholes.
Oh, man.
Teachers that'll tell you...
And they usually teach elementary school.
They'll tell you to give up on your dreams. They'll tell you that you'll never become a musician or an artist.
I gotta stay away from this story because
That happened to you?
Dude, like...
Oh, no.
All right, I'll tell a story.
Okay,
I won't say their name because
of course.
They're very nice and I care about them, and I won't put them on blast on the internet. But I was graduating, and I want to be. I'm not going to say I want to be because I'm doing it. Entertainment and being a performer is my career. It's how I want. It's how I want to make my living.
Yes.
And we're sitting down and we're just kind of talking, and I can tell this was probably meant to make me like stay in college and find a day job, and not count on entertainment being my living.
Right.
And she said that I would never make it.
Oh.
Like I won't do it.
Yeah.
And this person, I had a lot of respect for. And I still do. But that kind of was one of the, after I graduated high school, I didn't try to do what I wanted to do, because all of that belief I had in myself was instantly shot because somebody I looked up to told me it would never happen.
Shit.
Yeah. And now I'm doing it because my dream now is to someday be able to walk up to this person and not dream, my goal. You shouldn't dream, you should have goals. My goal is to one day walk up to this person and go, you were wrong.
Yeah.
And I feel like Love on Porpoise, you know, the musical. I feel like that's enough of a thing to go. You were kind of wrong.
Yeah.
I did it.
Yeah.
It wasn't a smash success, but
and if
it happened. I made that happen.
And if it wasn't for the large amount of money you had to pay, you would have made your money back.
Oh yeah, no. If you had done the score, we wouldn't have had to pay $2,000 something to somebody.
Exactly.
In that sentence.
And then you would have made your money back, and therefore it's a success.
I mean, we probably wouldn't have made a lot of money back, but we would. It would have been a much more successful endeavor. Not that it wasn't. I guess you got to weigh it in terms of success. Anyway.
But yeah, some teachers will just do that, and I don't see how a teacher can say that in such plain words as you're never gonna make it.
It was blunt and hurtful.
I'd probably phrase it as though I'd probably say it like, hey, keep working at it, work every day, do your best to make it happen.
Just make sure you
also have a day job.
Make sure you have income.
Make sure you make money.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think there are a lot of people. I think there are some teachers who think it's their job to give you a dose of reality.
Right.
But their perception of the world is not how the world works.
Like, I agree sometimes, and I think it happens from teachers of the arts teachers a lot, because there's that old axiom, that old phrase that says, if you can't do
those who can't
teach. And that sours some people, because they're like, well, this was my dream and it was crushed, and now I'm bitter, I'm old, I can't make it now. In their heads they can't make it. And so then when they see someone with that same dream, I think it's more anger pointed towards themselves that they weren't able to do it, and it's outwardly expressed by telling a child, don't try.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
And that's so a lot of people, I'm certain, have given up solely because of that. Like, given up forever.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely I think it was when I was 22, I realized I graduated high school 4 years prior to that, and I didn't do a single thing I said I was going to do.
Right.
Not one thing. I had nothing to show for my life.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when I joined Rocky Horror Picture Show Shadowcast. Mm-hmm. I was in a play. I started writing Dogs, the musical. Mm-hmm. And then we actually wrote and finished and put on stage Love on Porpoise, the musical. And then I wrote Best Trip Ever. And a whole bunch of other stuff that we're still writing to this day. And we're still doing the Rocky Horror Picture Show Shadowcast thing. And I think if you could tell, if I was going to give high schoolers advice, it would be, do not let anybody tell you what your goal in life should be. Don't ever let them. Don't ever let somebody tell you what you can and can't do or what you are.
Yeah. There's a million things. When people say the sky is the limit, I like to think that that's true.
It is. I truly believe that it's that. I believe in the Matrix theory.
Yeah. Yeah. That we're living in. That you can transcend if you really believe in it. I think what I was going to say is very similar to that.
And I also believe we're in
if you
I said that once to a girl just so she would stop talking to me.
If you want to, I'd say it made a noise and it scared me. I'd say if you want to make something happen, then you're going to do it. You're going to find a way to do it. And the thing is that willingness to do something like that is sucked away by people telling you no.
Yeah.
Or that you're not good enough, and then again, some people just can't some people can't give out constructive criticism,
Mhm.
and some people can't take constructive criticism. And that's a very important. That's a very, very important skill to have.
I think learning to take criticism is a learned skill.
Absolutely.
I don't think there's anybody
Absolutely.
who, when they were first in high school, I don't think there was anybody who liked being criticized.
I think somebody. Well, that's because. Did you know that you're okay? So I was talking about this with a friend of mine the other day. When you get met with opposition, your brain actually releases a little bit of adrenaline, which cues this fight or flight reaction.
Oh yeah.
And that's why learning how to take constructive criticism is so hard, because it is opposition to something you made. You get that little spark of adrenaline, and all of a sudden you're on the defensive, and you're like, well, I did it because of this, and I did, but I'll talk more about this later.
No, yeah.
But I'd say
I have a direct example of what you're talking about.
I'd say to sum up the inspirational message we were just saying, people say learn how to walk before you run, learn how to crawl before you walk. Learning how to take constructive criticism, I think, is the learning how to crawl in making your art become a reality for you.
Yeah.
Because that it'll only make it better.
Although if your dream is to be in a crunkcore band, you should probably quit that dream.
You should probably. Well, also, you probably aren't able to take constructive criticism real well anyway.
You're probably fucked up.
Yeah.
You're probably fucked up on meth.
Yeah, you wouldn't be in that band otherwise.
Some sober Christian crunkcore guy is like, what?
What?
Oh, Charlie and Connor hate crunkcore.
What was crunkcore? Was that like what was that band from Albuquerque?
Broken
Side. Was Broken Side crunkcore?
Yeah, they were. That's crunkcore.
Oh my god.
The awful metal auto-tune screaming shit. That's kind of why I set my friends on fire. I'm kind of like, yeah, no, I don't like this band.
I don't wanna.
I thought I did.
I don't want to make any of my friends mad who might be listening to this. But speaking of people like Broken Side, isn't Hollywood Undead the worst? They're coming out with a new album. I'm going to look up the name. I remember thinking, that's the only reason why I brought it up, because I remember the album name being really, really fucking stupid, and it's basically like a cover of something.
If ICP and Hollywood Undead were dangling from a ledge, and you had to save one of them,
I'd fucking save ICP.
I'd save
ICP. They've at least given me a little joy.
And I'm not gonna lie, also I'd be kind of kicking the dirt from where Hollywood Undead is holding on to. I'd be like, I got you, shit. I got you two. I don't know the ICP guys. I'd be like, I got you guys. Shaggy Too Dope. Yeah.
I don't know the other one.
I got you guys, and then I'd also be over there going die, Hollywood Undead.
Well, also ICP had this. I mean, at our high school, there were so many juggalos.
Oh God!
And the thing is that they didn't annoy me. I had this friend of mine. I'm not gonna say his last name, but his first name was Johnny. I forget Dopey was his juggalo name, and he was and still is one of the fucking coolest people I've met in my life. And
I'm not gonna make any comments on juggalos.
Okay.
They have a wrestling promotion though, so I think that's pretty cool. But my opinion of juggalos will remain silence. No.
And in my personal opinion, I think Miracles is a fucking amazing song. It's not because I'm not religious in any way, but when they go, how do magnets work? Miracles. I'm like, thank you, ICP.
So you don't actually like it. It's like that ironic like.
It just makes me smile. It makes me smile a whole lot.
Okay.
Holy shit. I said Hollywood Undead, and I completely fucking forget what we were talking about. Constructive criticism.
In high school, yeah.
So, yeah, what was your example?
I mean, this wasn't necessarily high school, but when we were rehearsing that one day, and then a much more experienced person who was not the director kind of gave us, basically gave her version of how she would direct the show. There was this huge part of me that was like, oh, no, but I knew that it was a lesson I needed to learn if I wanted to make it in this business.
Right.
So I bit my tongue, and honestly, a lot of things she said were good ideas. And I remember Mark was like, are you just gonna, are you gonna let her do this? Yeah. And I'm like, it's like being mad somebody gave you $1 million. Like, yeah, a lot of this is useful stuff, and we should probably put into practice. So
totally.
I'm glad that this happened, but man, was that was a pill. That was a big giant pill that I just had to get down there. Like, thank you.
In any other situation, I think, though, especially since now you're working with a collaborative team, me and Keaton, in any other situation, you would have been in the right to be like, hey, and if they weren't
no, she knew what she was talking about. Like, she knew what she was talking about, so it's not...
If they were just any other actor, you'd be in the right to be like, hey, leave that to me and the people I wrote the show with.
Like, if our lead tried that, I would be... I would shut that down real quick.
Yeah, dude.
And that's end of that topic. End of that conversation.
I had this...
in our bands and stuff like that. Yeah. That's when you do. That's taking constructive criticism not well.
Yeah. In which bands?
Our band.
Oh, okay.
When we had a band.
Who gave us constructive criticism?
We gave each other constructive criticism.
Oh, yeah, but we were also children.
Yeah, no.
My God.
Well, I'm just saying it's growth. I think as you get older, it gets easier to take constructive criticism.
I'm a fucking weird guy. That's why when we have our idea for the 3 bands thing, and I'm like Kanye Ray Jepsen is kind of like, I want to write the music and stuff. I'm
super excited for Kanye West Jepsen.
With music, I told Caleb about that, and Caleb already doesn't like Kanye West Jepsen. He was like, his argument is that Kanye West Jepsen is more likely to be sued because Kanye West is a full name, but Kanye's just a first name, and Ray Jepsen is just
I know. It's just for our live shows, and it's literally just banter. It's literally just to annoy you on stage.
One of the times I'm gonna light myself on fire, and it's not gonna be fake.
We're gonna go on stage. I'm gonna introduce this before you can. We're Kanye West Jepsen. It's Kanye Ray Jepsen. Yeah. Okay.
And
sure, Charlie.
Why can't I be the cool one in Kanye Ray Jepsen? Can I never be the cool guy? The cool guy who's like, Kanye, hey, it's Kanye Ray Jepsen.
Because you care about the name, man.
I do care. I care very much so.
Cool people don't care.
It's branding. But I have this weird thing where in writing, in acting, whenever I'm able to do it, and have the opportunity to do it, basically any creative endeavor, I love constructive criticism.
Yeah, no.
But when it comes to bands, like being in a band, starting a band, I'm like the meanest fucking person, dude. Like, back when Caleb and I have more band stories. I have band stories for later. But when we were in a good band,
episode 4, we hate bands.
When we made good music, I had this weird, because throughout our career throughout high school, we had a guitar player, frontman, who was a excuse the word, but a cunt. And he was basically he would tell me at every step of the way that I'll never get better at singing, I'll never get better at playing music, that all my songs suck.
It's not constructive. Not constructive criticism.
I know it's not. I'm not saying it was, but that gave me this weird complex. So that when we did start making good music, whenever we would get a bass player or another guitarist who wanted to be in the band, and they were like, hey, I have this song I wrote, and I kind of want it to play it in a style that I want, I'd be like, all right, so which band is going to play that?
No, I gotcha. I gotcha.
I'd tell him, I'd be like, because I don't want to sing the lyrics because I won't do them justice, and it's your song. So basically, the mean thing that I would say, and I'd be really blunt about it, I'd be like, it's your song, start your band to play your song. And I'd be like, and I'd pitch them on this idea. I'd say, I'm into it. You'll just call it a different name, but we'll all be in the same band. And I always thought that was a good idea, so that they're able to express themselves without me fucking it up for them. But also, it's super mean, you know.
No, I feel you. It's really, especially when you're very protective of your vision.
Yes.
It's really hard to let other people expand on that vision.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of on the side of that because I don't particularly care for other people telling me how my idea should go.
Right.
And part of that stubbornness, part of that's just like, no, I've put a lot of thought into this thing. Like, I've looked at this from every single angle I could, and you're coming in trying to tell me I should do it differently.
Right.
That is not making me feel good.
I also feel like a lot of your experiences have to do with people coming in and wanting to change things radically.
Yeah.
Like saying, oh, instead of this scene being set here, maybe it's set on a beach or on the moon.
Maybe this character should be dead the entire time. What?
Right, yeah, and those are real extreme things. When we write and whatever, I think at the most it's more like we brainstorm what they say this, maybe we could tweak that. As far as my experience in this music thing goes, it's somebody also trying to change something radically. Like, yeah. I was like, I'd be like, well, we're in a kind of a metal band, and you're wanting me to play Bittersweet Symphony, you know what I mean?
But if you did metal,
and I'm like, so when are we gonna start your band, person? And looking back, it's super mean, but Caleb and I were such a good duo that Caleb begged this question of me the other day. He was like, because I was talking about bassists and how they would complain how they like couldn't follow me and whatever. And Caleb was like, it's because they were trying to play what you were playing instead of playing a bass line that was different from what you were playing. And instead of just playing the music and like jamming with it and learning it that way and kind of freeballing it, they would like stand in front of your guitar and be like, where are his fingers going? And I like to through compose music, so I'd go from a verse to like a chorus to a riff to a solo, and so the bass players would be like, I can't follow you, this is stupid.
See, that's why I liked when we were in a punk band, because I just had to play the same fucking riff every time.
And Caleb would just be like, and Caleb just told me the other night, he was like, well, Caleb said, and this is Caleb speaking, he said, I just did it. Why couldn't they just fucking do it? They should have just been following the drummer in the first place. And the thing is that one of these bassists was a classically trained jazz musician, and he fucking couldn't, and he was all about improvising. He would jack improvisation, just jack the concept of improvisation off so hard. But then when we asked him to make his own bass line, like, he expected me to write his bass line, instead of just making his own and like during practice, because that's what practice is for, to practice something and learn it. Yeah. Instead of doing that, he just complained and then quit, and then joined an indie band, which I thought was beautiful, but nothing he played was super spectacular in it.
I think a lot of bassists forget that their job is to keep a rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, like, we were in a punk band, so my bass lines were not complicated bass lines. It was just keeping the rhythm. Right. And also I was singing, so I really was like, I just have to play something I can remember and not fuck up.
Right. A lot of, even in jazz, they call it walking the bass.
Yeah.
And
which I can't do.
And in a small, so like in a tempo like bum 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 bum, it's like boom boom boom. Now what you did, that's cool because you just subdivided.
Yeah.
You know what subdividing is.
No.
That's when you take
sorcerer, Charlie. I'm a sorcerer. I don't know this shit. I just do it.
Cool little math lesson. A quarter note is worth one beat.
Yeah. I mean,
quarter note, eighth note, and subdividing means how many eighth notes can I fit in this quarter note? How many 16th notes can I fit in this? So all of a sudden, instead of going da da da, you go da 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 da. And so you did. See, you're already a bassist. You're a natural bassist. You can subdivide.
Yeah.
And so jazz musicians do that all the time. But and in the later years, I tried to be real free with my music composition. Like me and Caleb would just jam, and I'd be like, "That's a good song." And so when we would try and get a bassist in, I wanted to make them feel as comfortable as possible. I'd say, "Don't stress it. You don't have to be perfect the first time. It takes work to do this, and I'll jam with you after practice to get this down and stuff like that." And they still didn't like it. I teach guitar. Sometimes I teach guitar whenever I decide in the future to take a job again, because I left my last guitar teaching job a little bitter, because I was finally getting paid to teach someone something, and the student wasn't practicing, and the student wasn't getting better, no matter how much I was like, you're wasting your parents' money.
Sounds like a certain lead.
Yeah, tell me about it.
In our musical, who got frustrated every time he didn't get something right, but never put in the effort to get it right.
Exactly, and it was so frustrating to have this kid, who I wanted to get better, not practice and basically waste their parents' money. But then I ended up getting canned because they wanted to get a classical guitar teacher, and oh man, and it was so bad. I left. I was like, I understand, that's fine, I'll take my last payment. And but I warned them. I was like, I'm a real lax guy. You weren't practicing, and you weren't getting better. And I wasn't angry at you, and I just kept encouraging you. I wanted you to practice, get better, practice on your free time. A classical guitar teacher is going to get angry that you're not practicing, and they're probably going to tell you, why are you? So I told them straight up. I said, they're probably going to ask you, why aren't you practicing? Why aren't you wasting your parents' money? And then the kid started crying. They go, maybe I'm not gonna be good enough. And I was like, oh shit!
Well, okay,
I fucked up this person's life.
No, because if we wanted to be professional, because all of this lead had to do was practice his shit, and he never did. He never did. And I'm not gonna be too long on this because it's not worth my time going into. But if you're a professional theater production company and you cast this person as your lead, and you ask him, are you listening to your CD? No. Are you watching the dance videos? No. It is 3 weeks before our show goes on stage, and you're not doing anything you can to learn your part? You're fired. You'd be kicked out of the role.
That's how the real world works.
So high school, right?
Yeah. Actually, I'm going to take like 1 minute. I'll just cut out.
Yeah, that's fine.
I need to make a call.
That's fine.
Okay. I like the universe, and she messes with my words. I'm not talking planets or galaxies, and the distance just makes it worse. I know what you're thinking. This probably sounds reversed. So let's give it up to the new year. Did this one? Hey, I wanted to tell you to prolong it to not come at 2:45, maybe like 3-ish, maybe 3:30. Okay, yeah, that sounds good. Okay, bye. Cool. I didn't expect that we talk for 50 minutes about fucking dreams and shit.
Well, we're passionate. We're
Yeah.
passionate, creative people. Damn it.
Oh my god, yeah, we have some real opinions on that. But anyway,
No, because I think you and I, especially like the goals in life we have, a lot of people are going to tell us you're not going to make it.
Right.
Because I think that's just what they have to tell you.
Of course.
Is you're not going to make it.
Of course.
But I don't think either you or I are the type of people to believe that.
Right.
I mean, I for a little bit did.
Of course.
But it was more of a self-esteem thing than like, it was just like, it just made me really, really doubt myself.
And I definitely have days where I wake up and I think to myself, why am I trying? Like, what use is trying to make something, But then after like a while of not making something, I lose my mind because I love making shit.
Yeah, no,
I love bringing joy to people. I love making them laugh. I love making them dance. I love it. That brings me serious joy.
Yeah, like when I get really depressed, I don't feel like writing anything. Mm-hmm. But the fact that I'm not writing anything makes me depressed.
Yeah.
So as soon as I just write something, I instantly feel a little bit better because you're working towards something, you're creating something, you're not doing nothing. Mm-hmm. You're working towards something.
Yeah, you're putting something that might mean something really, really special to somebody in the future. I mean, it's like
not that Love on Purpose meant anything special.
Well, I mean, it might have touched somebody.
There's no way.
Who knows?
That musical, no way.
I don't know.
It touched me, but it's my baby, and I made it.
I think the first time when I've really, because I did theater in high school. I didn't do any of the plays except for Mice and Men. But
there were more people on stage than in the audience.
Yeah, I only really did that one, but I performed music and stuff like that. But nothing really made me. And this is important. I really hope that the person or people, the group of people that I'm referencing right now, hear this. I really, really hope so because it would mean a lot to me. But I was in a really, really, really hard time. I was going through,
high school was the time to be a piece of shit.
Well, this wasn't in high school. This is afterwards. This is a couple years ago, and I was going through some real personal stuff that I wouldn't really like to get into.
Yeah.
And my life was like a mess, a serious mess when I decided to try an open mic night stand-up for the first time. And I did it. I only did it a few times, but
I think for artistic people, they have to hit a really, really low point in their life for them to really, really want to do that. I remember because before we wrote Dogs the Musical, mm-hmm. I wrote a short play called Kevin Writes a Play, and then a short film script, called Mall the Movie, which was a parody of action movies set in a mall.
Oh, okay.
Where I actually reread it and I was like, this is good.
Cool.
There's some quality fucking jokes in this.
Cool.
But I had just quit a show very, very dramatically. Like I was furious and I was upset, and then that's when I got together with Keaton and we wrote all of Love on Purpose. You need to have that hunger for art.
I was going through some real personal things. I had been canned from a job that I had for a year that I really, really loved doing. But then I ended up, I was down in the dumps, and I ended up going to this place on the recommendation of somebody that I knew from the job that I had, because he ran it, or was one of the co-hosts of the open mic night at a bar called the Bose Brothers Brewery, which is, if you're ever in Albuquerque, I believe it's on Central. It's like real downtown. I'll put it in the description. I'll give a shout out to Bose Brothers because they got good beer. They have good open mic nights. And anyway, I did it. I made people laugh, and I felt better than I ever had in my life. And I'd like to personally, you guys know who you are. If you're listening, you know who you are. I don't like using names on this.
We probably shouldn't.
Yeah, and I appreciate it.
Especially if we're...
I'd say it kept me...
If we're throwing shade at some people, we should probably avoid using names.
Well, the kindness that you guys shown me, really, in particular, you know who you are.
This is such a positive episode. This is like...
Really, it made me... I don't think I'd be kidding when I said it probably kept me from killing myself. This is open mic night.
This is a very real podcast episode we're doing, and we need to end this episode with that you gotta be strong, you gotta be tough.
Don't stop now, you got a reason to live.
We gotta end it with some inspirational 90s song.
Can we
end it with a Cranberry song?
Oh, Zombie?
No, not Zombie. The
Sinead O'Connor of the Sinead. I know Sinead O'Connor wasn't in the Cranberries, but we could do the cover of that Prince song.
That is Sinead O'Connor.
I know that's Sinead, but she's not in.
But that's not inspirational. That's not inspirational.
She's also not.
That's just a really good cover.
Zombie. And I'd like to start doing open mic nights again if you're interested, because I'd like to. They're just so fun.
Oh yeah, no, I'm down. I have a joke or two I can tell.
I want for 2 seconds to bring it back to the constructive criticism bit that we were talking about a while ago.
Yeah.
Speaking of, even in high school, it's hard for people to deal with constructive criticism. In college, I take a lot, even though I've taken them a lot and I've passed a lot of creative writing classes, I still take them because I love them and I need to get better. Sometimes I audit them, so I take them for free. You can do that at the community college here, which is fucking sweet. Some people in those classes are real bad at taking constructive criticism, dude.
I can imagine this is supposedly the last step you have until you get to do your career.
Mm-hmm.
And you're a grown adult, and people are treating your work like you were in kindergarten.
It's like, okay, so in a college class, and this is in a creative, my screenwriting teacher would tell me that a creative writing fiction class is a whole lot different than like a screenwriting class at UNM or something.
Mm-hmm.
In the creative writing classes that I've been to, I'd say it's more of a problem of the person being bad at taking the criticism than people being bad at giving it.
Yeah,
because a lot of the time it's more like
that's what I meant. I wasn't. It makes a grown adult feel small.
But people go, it's so strange though, because people will go, oh yeah, this sentence is grammatically wrong. And the person will be like, what? No, it's not. It's right as fuck. And they'll be like, I'll read you the sentence out loud right now, dude. It says, is this what is that in there, dude? That's not a sentence. What's in where? Where is that? What's going on? Who's saying it? You didn't put quotes on it. I don't know if they're... You say he said afterwards, and what's going on? Even though I don't think I really like, oh, shit. Why am I spacing? I love Cormac McCarthy. He doesn't, he wrote, No Country for Old Men.
Yeah.
He doesn't use quotation marks. I'm fine with that. But he uses line breaks to do it. If you don't have quotation marks and you don't use line breaks to tell me someone's talking, So, funny, I have a real funny story, in my screenwriting class, a while ago. There was somebody there were two people who weren't good at taking criticism. And one of them, a woman, an older woman who's going back to college to take this class and, get better because she wants to make stuff. I'll let her off the hook because her screenplays had a whole lot of moxie in them and a whole lot of drive to get something done.
I really hope someday something I create gets. I hope my moxie is recognized. That would if we got one review for Love on Porpoise, I would hope at least it's got a lot of spunk. It's got a lot of moxie.
Yes, dude. Her stories had a lot of moxie, even though they were like,
just keep saying moxie.
I will. What do you call a pill that's a painkiller but also gives you a lot of spunk? Moxycontin. Oh shit! So her stories were real unorthodox.
You know what? Our podcast has lots of
what?
Moxie.
You're shy. Right. She had unorthodox stories that were high fantasy stuff mixed with strange undertones of Christian themes. I understand that. And the dialogue was a little weird, but...
So she was writing Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe?
Kinda, but I don't even want to go into how I personally, I enjoyed them for different reasons, but she wasn't so good at taking criticism. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt because she really believed in what she was doing. But then the dude who couldn't take criticism, not gonna say his name. If my teacher, cause I'm in a Facebook page with him, watches this, he'll know who I'm talking about.
I think he probably already does.
But this one dude,
we'll call him John.
We'll call him Trevor.
Is his name John?
His name isn't John, but we'll call him Trevor because the beginning consonant is he wasn't good at taking constructive criticism.
Trevor.
And that's something I can excuse, of course, because it is your baby.
And it's hard.
But when he was giving criticism, he was the biggest fucking douchebag about it in the fucking world.
That's not cool.
So for the class, you didn't need to get the book, right? Because the teacher was real good at teaching you, and even he even said you don't need the book, but if you want to read up a little bit more about stuff, then you don't have to. Every time someone would criticize this guy's fucking work, he'd be like, "Oh no, you're wrong because it says in the book that you're supposed to do it like this." He had a real academic, quote unquote, approach to it, where he's like, "The book's right, the book's right."
Academic kind of defeats the whole purpose of art
completely. And even the teacher would be like, "Well, they're not wrong because you can also do it like this." And this guy was insufferable. He had good opinions about stuff when he was critiquing my work. I took his words to heart. I'd be like, okay, but when he was critiquing other people's work,
it's just Instagram.
Right? I know it is. But I was just looking. I was having an eyeful.
I follow wrestlers, Charlie.
Good wrestlers.
Shut up.
But when he gave criticism to some other people, particularly the woman I was talking to, they were almost like rivals throughout the whole class.
Yeah.
When he was giving her criticism, he was just mean. And then after the class, he would say horrible, horrible things about her.
Man, like
I was like, this guy was such a dickhead.
So as the director of our show, it's my job. It is my job to, critique things.
Yeah.
And our lead, who, did not take criticism well at all. In fact, he did not take criticism. He, you just give him this little thing, and then he wouldn't take it.
Yeah.
And then, like, somebody else would do something, and he would say, loud enough so you hear it, but quiet enough to where he's not saying it, but you can still fucking hear it. He'd say some shitty thing under his breath, and then you'd criticize him, and he wouldn't take it well, and he'd throw brooms and cry and throw fucking hissy fits.
Did you ever say something mean about me?
No.
You tell me. Right?
Yeah, I would tell you, Charlie.
Oh, thank you. Because I'm the one that was keeping everybody alive. That's the joke.
Taking criticism is all about taking your ego, which is not important. It's not important. Taking your ego out of the equation and accepting somebody's perception of your work.
And that's the cool thing, is that you don't even have to implement what the person says.
Yeah.
You just have to be like, all right, I'll think about doing that.
Yeah.
And then do it or don't. So, and people don't understand that. They think that, like, when someone tells you maybe you should do it this way, they think, no, I won't, I hate that, I'm not gonna. When in reality, they could just be like, I'll consider it. And if they don't do it, then they don't do it. And, oh my God. Wow, whoa, this...
I think I think seeking criticism is good.
Yes.
Especially, like, when I'm just performing. Like, if I'm not directing something, like, if I'm just performing and I'm not exactly getting told what I'm doing wrong, but nobody's being, like, super complimentary about what I'm doing, I'll seek it out. Like, what do I need to do to get you to notice what I'm doing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if I'm performing, I want to steal the fucking show.
Yeah.
I want to steal the fucking show from everybody if I'm on stage.
Yeah.
Not in an egotistical, like, I want to make this show about me. But I want to put on such a good performance that when people leave, that's what they're talking about.
They're like, that was a great show, but how about that guy?
It's not about taking away from everybody else. It's just about, like, giving it your all.
Of course, as everyone should be. Everybody should want to steal the show. Absolutely.
Except in a band.
And then
that's where it
Shitty.
stops.
You start becoming like an Axl Rose or a,
or a David Lee Roth.
David Lee Roth.
Although Van Halen sucks without David Lee Roth. So who's the talented?
Who needed who?
Who needed who?
Yeah.
They've needed each other, because David Lee Roth without Van Halen's lame, but Van Halen without David Lee Roth is terrible.
Who is? Oh my God! Or Oasis.
Oof.
You know how much they hated each other, and it's because they were jerking themselves off all the time.
I think they realized, oh God, I'm going to stop because everybody likes Oasis except me.
They do that. What's that one song they do? Oh no, wait, I got it. I remember how it goes. They go, closing time.
That's Semisonic.
They do she's everything you
want. That's Vertical Horizon.
They do roller coaster of love.
That's
roller coaster.
Red Hot Chili Peppers covered that.
They do Love You Madly.
Smell sex and candy here.
Yeah,
that's Oasis.
Classic Oasis.
They do
what else should I be?
Well, just don't even.
They do.
No.
Dick. No, they do. I know. My favorite Oasis song is Mr. Jones and Me. Round
here.
Yeah.
Always stay up late.
That's a good one.
Accidentally in love.
Remember when?
No. Oasis does Somebody Once Told Me the World Was Gonna Roll Me.
But that is classic. They used to be a ska band, right? Ska. I remember Oasis being ska.
Yeah, no.
And not. I mean, who else would have? I mean, I believe Smash Mouth covered that Oasis song at one point in time, but
the way that you walk, it's just the
way that you make.
That's classic Oasis.
God damn. Remember, let's bring it back to the reason for the season, and that's high school. I remember when all those fucking movies were coming out when we were younger that Smash Mouth was in.
2002 was nothing but Smash Mouth's all-star opening and closing movies.
All-star? I know. Well, wasn't it? Okay, it was in Shrek, but first it was in...
It was in Rat Race. It was in Shrek.
And Mystery Men with Ben Stiller.
It was in a lot of fucking things.
Are you going to look up how many things All-Star was in?
Yeah, I'm going to look it up.
Okay, totally do that.
Anyway,
because I remember...
Let's get back to high school, the whole reason for this fucking podcast.
Because I remember.
What are we going to talk about?
Well,
everything but high school.
Well, I remember back then listening to that one Smash Mouth song on repeat for like a whole year. But then I was more into... I had bad taste in music, and I still like a lot of the bands I liked back then. I still like now. I still like Marcy.
Okay, so it was in Mystery Men, Shrek. It was in Digimon the movie.
Yeah, it was.
It was Inspector Gadget.
Oh.
It ended the film Rat Race. Mm-hmm. It was on Guitar Hero on Tour, which is...
Yikes.
It's not a good song. It's not a good band.
Hey now, you're an all
growing up is realizing Smash Mouth sucks.
I enjoyed that song
the singer's a dickhead. So once he hears that we're talking shit about him, he's going to talk a bunch of shit about us.
I enjoy the song in the way that it's almost gotten a life of its own. Like, you know that large drummer guy who just sings it over every song ever? Like, he'll sing it over... What? He sings it over Smells Like Teen Spirit?
That song led him to drink. That song led the singer of Smash Mouth to be an alcoholic.
But this guy that I'm talking
about...
Not
confirmed.
This guy that I'm talking about, that John Sedano guy, where he'll sing it, the lyrics over Smells Like Teen Spirit. He'll sing it over Avenged Sevenfold songs. He just finds songs that are in the same key as it and have the same verse, chorus, verse pattern, and he just sings... the song over it. He's a genius. I'll show him later. It's amazing.
I have no.
No, I'm serious.
No,
you'll like him.
I literally have no interest in that.
He's cool.
I have zero interest in that.
I like that the song has a life of its own.
Okay, cool.
Besides
Charlie,
being a Smash Mouth
do
song.
not show me that.
Why?
I don't want to see it.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do. Get with the times. Everybody loves him.
I don't give a shit.
But anyway, I was gonna say. I like a lot of the bands that I liked back then. Like, I still like Marcy Playground. I still like Presidents of the United States of America. Remember Lump? Lump lived alone in a boggy marsh.
Going to the country, gonna eat a lot of peaches.
Millions
of peaches!
Remember
peaches
that King of the Hill reference to that song?
Yeah.
When Hank brings his guitar in, and they're like, can you play Peaches? And he's like, oh, well, I guess I'll give it a go and do the country. I love that. I love those bands. I will defend, I don't like their other albums, but City of Evil by Avenged Sevenfold is their best fucking album.
Great album.
It is a good
album. I don't
like
Avenged Sevenfold.
I don't even like them.
Although I do like I like the album that came out after that, because I like Almost Easy. I think Almost Easy is a really good song. Mm-hmm. But you hear Backcountry and you're like,
it's just better. Almost Easy was, I don't know.
It was a radio hit.
It's like they followed up an album that had so much energy and passion behind it.
That album had that gross song that is no longer.
Almost Easy did.
Yeah, it was self-titled, like it was.
Oh, okay.
It had that one really.
And that's a home when they ripped off Panic at the Disco for that one song.
That really gross song that.
The one that one guy that we knew liked a whole lot, and he would show us the music video.
No, like when you're a young kid and you don't think about context like that, this is a fun song, and then you get older, and it's like, I can't say I enjoy that song.
What was that song called?
I don't remember. Let's get away from it.
I don't know the song, but I never liked that song though. I always thought it was so lame. Like even when I, because I still really enjoy. My musical repertoire is very extensive.
Moxie repertoire.
This
is some fucking high-end podcasting shit
really
right here.
It's pronounced repertoire.
Repertoire.
But
ennui repertoire.
But my musical taste has extended to prog rock and jazz and noise and everywhere in between. But I love Panic at the Disco.
Yeah,
and even though I like Panic at the Disco, that song.
No, I got you, because there are some bands I still listen to that I listened to heavily in high school that I don't listen to as much, but I still have. They're like guilty pleasure bands. I mean, I still have that Hawthorne Heights CD.
Dude,
on my iTunes.
I still sometimes every now and then I still listen to The Used. Pretty Handsome Awkward was sweet, dude.
God.
I love that song.
I still have the My Chemical Romance CDs.
Yeah. I still have From Under the Cork Tree, that Fall Out Boy album.
But that's such a
brilliant
that's
album.
such a quality album,
Yeah,
and then everything else they ever released was shit.
You have to admit it. From Under the Cork Tree is like the band you don't want to follow.
Oh man, it's
and then you come on afterwards in it.
If you're a sad fat 16-year-old boy, or a fad sat, or a fad sat, sad Charlie.
Yeah.
No. Or if you're just sad, under the Cork.
Okay.
From under the no.
I forgive you if you're a sad 16-year-old. What?
You're just sad and 16. From Under the Cork Tree is for you.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
do you have a hoodie on? Yeah. Does the hoodie have holes in the thumb area? Yeah.
Do you have safety pins stuck somewhere in it?
Are there patches you did not actually sew onto your hoodie? Yeah. From Under the Cork Tree is for you.
It'll change your life.
It's a great album. I still listen to it, and I can't hate on it.
All the songs are catchy.
Yeah.
I after listening to it, that album all the way through, the last song I think is my least favorite song.
I think so. To sum up, because this podcast was supposed to be about high school, and in a way it was.
Yeah.
A lot of the baggage we had in high school.
Yeah.
We brought into our adult world.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, for a little bit, they do that. They bring the baggage that they created in high school. They bring it. And then at a certain age, you realize, I need to let this go. Because you and I were pieces of shit in high school.
Yeah.
For different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And to different people.
Mm-hmm.
But, we left high school with that image of ourselves and that idea of ourselves that we suck.
Yeah.
And that we don't deserve anything. We don't deserve to be happy because we're garbage. We're garbage and we treated people like crap.
Right.
But then you hit that certain age where you realize, I don't have to be that person. If I hated that person, why am I resigning myself to be that person?
Absolutely. I feel like, speaking of not changing since high school, but during high school, I had
because on that note,
uh-huh.
if somebody had come up and told me that I would cast you in Love on Purpose, I would say, like, before you auditioned, I would say I wouldn't even let him in the building to audition.
Right.
And when you entered, it was like that was 6 years ago.
Yeah. Well, and it's not just that, but my track record throughout high school in theater was being a stoned dropout.
You shaved your eyebrows.
I didn't. Oh, okay. Well, that was an honest mistake. At least I showed up to rehearsals.
That's true.
After that, I bailed on shows. I didn't fucking do anything. I mean, I mean, if anything, even if you didn't hate me because of the quarrel we had before, the band stuff, then I would have expected you to have not let me audition for that reason, because I was unreliable.
And I mean, like, you know, there was that fear, but it was just kind of one of those things where it was like, it's not a big deal.
And then who showed up early to rehearsals? A bunch.
Playing Pokemon Go.
Playing Pokemon Go sometimes.
I rolled my window down. I was just like, Charlie,
what are you doing?
I was looking at you. You were just staring at your phone and kind of milling about.
I
and
remember
I knew.
clearly. I remember
I was
clearly.
just like, no, Charlie.
You got out. You said, Charlie, what are you doing? And I was like, nothing.
I was like, no, Charlie.
You're playing Pokemon Go, aren't you?
You're an adult, Charlie.
But some baggage that I've kept from high school is definitely like a body insecurity thing. And I remember...
Same. I mean, I'm a little bit better about it.
I remember when I went over the edge with my insecurity to it. The moment was... And it was like maybe the 5th or 6th time it happened. I don't believe... I've never seen the Goonies. And I don't believe any of my friends had seen the Goonies.
I've seen the Goonies.
Well, any of my friends at that period of time, but they had watched Family Guy.
Oh, God.
And so every time I would see them, I would at least get one request to do the Truffle Shuffle. And to this day,
I do the Truffle Shuffle for our audience.
To this day, I refuse to watch Goonies because it made me sad that I was chubby.
Oh.
And I kept that with me. I mean, even still today, even now, I feel like I'd be real hesitant taking off my shirt before going into a pool.
No, I feel you. It took me a very, very long time before I was comfortable taking my shirt off in a pool. And then, like, during Love on Porpoise, my shirt was always off.
And then,
I think in order to have confidence, you just have to fake it, and eventually it just kind of, it's there.
Yeah. During high school, I mean, I kind of like to talk about how I was an insufferable cunt. I was a little puss.
That's two uses of the word.
In high school.
3 uses of the word. 4. We got a Spanish Inquisition situation here. We need to quit now.
Where I was a real... Okay, so I think I was a real dick.
I could be. I wasn't always, but I had zero problem being.
I was like a dick in the way that it wasn't towards... Like, with my friends, I would always want to, like, please them and all that stuff and blah, blah, blah. But my other situations, like my situations with girls and stuff like that, I was a real prick. Because I threw... And I'm regretting it to this day being such a prick back then because now this is... I regret it because I willingly through relationships that could have amounted to something wonderful with certain people for what amounted to nothing. Because I would break up with them for stupid reasons. I would break up with them for other people, as you know.
Yeah.
I would break up with them because I didn't feel like I deserved to be loved. I would break up with them because I felt like, because I was like, I'm a piece of shit. Why is this person putting up with such a piece of useless, worthless piece of shit like me? And I would push them away and I'd break up with them. And I would be, and sometimes instead of breaking up with them because I didn't want to be the one who did it, I would act like a dickhead on purpose to get them to break up with me. I wouldn't talk to them. I would lie. I would bail on plans with them and stuff. And and a lot of these relationships could have, I'll never know anymore, but could have ended up being something good. And I talk to some of these people still, and now they're smart people with dreams and they work hard, and I'm like, shit. That is something that's been absent in my life forever. I've never been with somebody who, well, I mean, I was with smart people, but I mean, I was in high school.
Yeah.
Again, I haven't, this is a fun fact about Charlie. Charlie fun fact of the week, I think, is a new segment I'm going to start adding. Cue the music! And Charlie's fun fact of the week. I'm going to isolate that, and I'm going to use that.
All right. I made a song.
I haven't had a date since I turned 18. Well, not since I turned 18.
Since you were 18.
Since my 18th year of life.
Are you gonna tell? Yes. Are you gonna tell the story about your last date?
I might as well.
You might as well. It got you cast in my musical.
Yeah, thank you. Awesome. That makes me happy.
That story immediately disarmed any what's the word?
Like preconceived notion?
No, I mean like that's the word I want to use, but it's not any resistance I had to casting you. Once you told that story, I was like, all right, okay. This guy has eaten shit and learned to like the taste. So any grudge I have is my grudge.
Awesome. Well, thank God. Powerful piece, that story.
it disarms everybody.
I had so for you folks out there, I was 18 years old. I had just gotten my first job.
Tell the story and then we'll wrap it up.
I had just gotten. Are we? Oh well, hey, we're doing good. I was 18. I had gotten my first job at a barbecue place called Quarters Barbecue, which the food was pretty good, but it was like real easy to make and kind of hard to clean up. But anyway,
as barbecue is.
I had and so it was my first paying job ever. I was like right out of high school, and there was a girl that I really liked, and I don't need to say her name or whatever, but anyway, I
probably shouldn't.
Yeah, probably shouldn't.
She probably would want to not be reminded of this day.
And I wanted to take her out on a date, and so one day I mustered up the courage to ask her, and to my pleasure, she said yes. I said, wonderful, I'm going to take you out to dinner. I was super excited because this was the first time I had taken somebody out and paid for something besides the first prom I went to, which I think instead of wrapping up after this story, we should talk about our prom experiences, because that's a whole...
It would just be your prom experience, because my prom experience was fine.
Oh. Shit!
I had an excellent time at prom.
Oh!
The only prom story I really have is when I told Nick we could not get the lobster because there was only one lobster in the tank, and so there's no surprise as to which lobster this is.
You know,
yeah,
who it. You're like,
and he was, and you know, like it was to impress a prom date because it was like it was ask the server for price. So immediately, and we were at Papado's, so it's like, ooh, everything's $20-something or more.
Oh, God.
So I was like, we're not gonna kill a lobster just so prom dates can go, ooh.
I can't believe that we pay upwards of $20 for what amounts to a trash animal that tastes good.
Tastes fucking amazing.
It is delicious. Sea cockroach. It's a delicious sea cockroach.
It doesn't matter. It tastes delicious. Stop ruining lobster!
So anyway, I decided I want to take her out to dinner, and so we end up meeting up.
Hold this thought.
Okay.
We'll cut this part out.
Alright.
I didn't think about the exit strategy.
Neither did George Bush.
He didn't have an exit strategy.
Yeah, he didn't think about it.
He didn't want one. He wanted to take over Iraq.
Okay, you get it. He didn't even know it was a real country. I can change, but I feel it in my bones, and I feel it in my bones. And I'm a million different people from one day to the next. I can change my bones. Oh no, 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 no. Was that little boy, that little baby boy was me. I once was a boy, but now I am a man. I fought the night man, lived as day man. Now I'm here to ask for your hand. So if you would marry a man, would you marry me? Won't you come on stage and join me? You think of matrimony. Please say yes and do not bone me. Grandpa, tonight to be an holiday slide. Wait, no, it goes, Grandpa, welcome home. You haven't gone for far
Okay,
too
we're back.
long.
We're back. Is this really you? We're back.
So anyway, I was listening to King Diamond and realized that's my favorite song in the world. So yeah, back to the story.
We'll cut out all of the King Diamond shit.
For fuck's sake. I took her to dinner. It was at a place called Buca de Beppo, which is downtown. It's like across the street from the Marriott, I want to say, on Louisiana in Albuquerque, downtown Albuquerque. Well, that's not real downtown, but in Albuquerque. And it was a real nice dinner. We had gotten our respective pasta dishes. However, before the prom, I was a little nervous, and there's this weird thing that I get where I get a real strange craving for dairy products when I'm nervous. In particular, milk. And before then, I had not realized, because I don't believe I had drank milk in quantity up until that point. I realized that I'm lactose intolerant. I drink about a quarter of a gallon of milk in about 5 minutes. I down some real cold milk, and then I go to the date. The date started off real good. It was real awesome. Again, we had gotten our pasta dishes. We had been talking, got our waters and soda, and whatever the hell else. Halfway through the entree, though, I started feeling a little rumble up in my tum-tum there, and it was just kind of like a sound you could hear, like.
We just ruined all of our credibility. We were saying words like repertoire and ennui and moxie, and then we just said tum-tum.
And it was just kind of like like it was angry, right? And I was like, oh no, that might be why I hear that in my dreams.
Call back to earlier in the episode.
We're so fucking good at
that. This podcast is kick ass.
And so it's rumbling real bad, and I realized to myself, oh no, I can't stay here for very much longer. I got to get the fuck out of here. So I call for the check. She wants desserts. I want to be nice. I want her to like me. Maybe this relationship could go somewhere, right? And so I'm like, okay, we'll get desserts. And we're hitting it off. She likes me. And then out of nowhere, a spur of the moment thing, she leans in to kiss me, right? To get a kiss. And I think to myself, oh, well, shit. I guess I kind of have to, right?
Yeah.
That'll be real rude.
Yes, you do.
I'm real upset that I have to kiss a person, which was a feeling that was new to me. And so I lean in, and as I'm leaning in one beautiful poetic motion, every liquid that was inside of me came shooting out of my asshole. Very loudly too, so it's not like you didn't know. And the restaurant had some people in it. There were some people behind me, and I shit myself. I think it was for a straight maybe 4 seconds, just constant stream of shit.
Let's time it. It was just.
That's about right. As I recall, that's how it felt.
4 seconds is so long to be shitting your pants.
And needless to say, I didn't get a kiss.
No! No, you would not get that kiss!
The date ended very promptly afterwards.
Yes, it would!
She left. I left separately.
Did you clean? Did you change your pants?
No. I think what I did is that I skillfully, before anybody noticed, made my way to the bathroom and called for a ride and stayed in there until they came.
You just stunk up your your ride's car.
I told them to bring me it was my parents.
Yeah.
But
I didn't want to.
I walked to the. I was 18. I didn't have a driver's license.
I moved out.
I walked to. Connor.
Yeah.
I walked to the bathroom like a cowboy with shit in his pants because I didn't want it to drip.
Oh God.
And anyway, that's Charlie. Fun fact number 2. Shit myself on the last date I ever had. I'm 24 now. That was like 18, 19, 20, 21. That was 6 years ago. 6 years ago.
I haven't had a date.
Haven't had a date. I've had one date, but it was a Tinder match from this redheaded girl that I really liked. But I'm what's that word? I'm persistently, not persistently. I'm
needy.
No, I'm not needy.
Okay.
I'm terminally unhip. I am like the least fucking cool person.
You don't know how to be cool.
I don't. I'm so uncool. I'm so uncool. I was gonna say I'm so uncool that I should be frozen. That doesn't make any sense. But if anything, the Fonz is ice.
No, what's cooler than being cool? Ice cold.
Ice cold.
I said, what's cooler than being cool? Ice cold.
I'm so.
All right.
I'm so uncool that I think that I didn't get that reference.
Outcast.
Oh.
Fucking caveman.
I'm so uncool that I think if anybody spent 10 hours with me, that they'd probably die of some sort of pestilence.
Well, I'm still alive.
They'd be like, I know, but you haven't spent 10 consecutive hours.
I don't want to spend 10 consecutive hours with anybody.
Because you'll die with me.
Well, no, anybody.
Yeah.
Because that just sounds like a miserable time.
That's annoying.
It just sounds terrible.
Well, you know how like when you were young and you would have like sleepovers, by like the afternoon of the next day you're just tired of the other person.
You need to go home.
You're like, hey, can you get out of my
Or if you're the person who's staying the night, it's like,
I gotta get out of here.
I don't want to be here for much longer.
Right. Exactly. I'm there with you.
It's just for the night. I don't want to stay here the whole afternoon. I got roped in one time to doing yard work for somebody that wasn't even like, they weren't even the people I was staying with. They were just going to go do that, and then for some reason I had to go help them.
Was that me?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
And it was pulling weeds. It sucked.
There have been more than one occasion where a friend of mine will come over to my house, and my mother would be like, hey, you want to make $20, kids? And we'd be like, what? One time my mom had me and my friends rip out bushes from our front yard. Remember, you've been to my house. Remember when we had...
Yeah, I remember.
We had, that hedgerow of bushes? Dig them all up. Take the roots and everything.
I would have just been like, nah.
Oh, that was so funny.
I turned down $100 to pull weeds in my own backyard one time because I was just like...
I don't know.
Well, I was like, I'm 13. $100 is probably nice, but I don't need it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
No thanks.
Dude, I hate...
Those weeds are big.
I hated pulling out the bushes, like, on my own. But, like, the last one, it had a trunk that was easily 2 feet in the ground and, like, this wide. And when I got that son of a bitch out, I felt powerful. I was like, this is what farmers feel like. And then I proceeded to not farm after that.
All right. So we should probably wrap this up.
You want to wrap up? I think you'd have a real good time with my prom story.
I think we should save the prom story for
Save a problem story for next time.
For next time.
I'll open
where we'll talk about dating.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
That sounds good.
And look, we just gave a sneak preview for what our next episode's going to be.
Sweet, man.
Connor and Charlie talk about love.
Okay, so I'll open up with that next time. And thanks everybody for listening.
Thank you.
Cruelty Free Podcast. I'm Charlie.
I'm Connor.
And have a great day.
You have a great day.
Okay.